somehow get it up there. It was cut day today for tryouts, and now I'm realizing that's the rough part of having so many tryouts, is because you get to know them a little bit better, and then it makes cutting them more difficult. For I guess for 5 minutes, and then I guess I just haven't had to do it in a few years. That's the part that's just I haven't had to deal with, because with COVID last year, I didn't have to cut any kids because I only had like 3 or 4 new kids show up, and I put everybody on the team, and we had really small teams last year. We had like 9, and then my team was the biggest with like 12 or 13, maybe even 14. But this week I did have one of my guys quit on me on Monday. Texted me during the day saying he gave it a lot of thought, and he has got too much on his plate. Essentially, he's got to save for college and do school, and he's like an ASB or leadership dude as well, and I think it's all true. I think to an extent, but he is also was one of my backup players last year as a junior, and now I'm sure he thought he was going to get the position this year. But after 2 weekends of doing little scrimmages, the second one, the 2 days before the Saturday, he didn't play very much. And so part of me just thinks, well, if you were starting, you wouldn't quit, and then you wouldn't, crop up with all these excuses. Which, you know what, it's okay. And I told him I respect him for making such a decision, and doing it in the beginning of the season, and also just being honest with himself. And then I thought we would be better with him, but I understand you have a life outside of volleyball, and he's not someone that was going to pursue it into college or anything, but that happened Monday, and I didn't quite know how to feel about it, to be honest. I was upset because I felt like it was my fault. I made it, which, I mean, it was. I'm the one who puts people in and takes them out, and so, yeah, I guess the blame can be pointed at me, but I don't ever want to see a kid like quit or not do a sport because of me, but also I guess maybe he didn't like it that much. And so makes me think, what is the correlation? What's the connection between playing time in matches and just playing, whether it's in practice or open gym or in front of everybody? And it must just be ego driven, really. And I think a lot of the things that humans do, and especially males, we do, and there's got to be some sort of satisfaction of our ego. Like, our ego has to be met to some degree. And if we're talking sports, it definitely has to be factored in. And I guess if you don't play very much, it doesn't make you feel good. I know that firsthand, because I sat like 2 or 3 matches my senior year, like didn't get off the bench once, didn't go in once, and it felt terrible. And I cried on my 10th grade girlfriend's shoulder, and she I was just thinking of that the other day, how funny of a scene that must have been. I'm not a super tall guy, but she was pretty short. She was like maybe 5 feet, maybe like 4'10" or 4'11". She was cool though. That was my first girlfriend, my first serious one. And yeah, I was just, feeling sorry for myself and sad, and I was crying, and my head was down on her little shoulder, and I think she was trying to console me, and I'm sure she was not. I'm sure she was like laughing on the inside too, at how ridiculous the whole situation must have appeared, and I would have been laughing too. But yeah, I just thought it was funny. I was by the soda machine, which doesn't exist anymore in that hallway, because soda's bad apparently. They don't have kids have soda in school anymore. But yeah, it feels bad, And that whole year, I stopped being as serious because I had a girlfriend, and then I was smoking a lot of weed then, and just I wasn't putting in although I did play club that year, 11th and 12th grade. But like I remember I went to club practice like drunk one time. I had thrown up in the toilet a few times before. I digress. But what I was getting at is it doesn't feel good to sit on the bench. And I guess, having to do a whole nother year of that, I guess just didn't sound very good for him. And this was the guy that, to me, it looked like he'd really come out of his shell in the last year as a senior. He was the one that was leading the student section in all the hooting and hollering during the girls' season, and he was there like a lot. And so I think he probably just thought he was gonna slide into that position and it was gonna be good. But I think it's probably easier for him to save face and not play at all than to have to be seen on the bench more often, because this other guy beat him out in my eyes, and I think it's better for the team that this other guy plays over him. And they were both kind of bench players last year too, so that happened Monday, and then I had a tryout with the young kids Monday, and then the last one was last night, and it's been a lot of tryouts. I think we must have did at least 10 or 11 or 12, and a couple kids that were like on the bubble, that were either going to get on the team or get cut also. I guess I had, it seemed like once I really started watching them last night, I could make cases for all of them. But I can't have 17 kids on a team, let alone like even 14 or 15 was sounding like too much. And I'm not going to coach this team. It's going to be another guy. And so, and everybody's been, the way they've been talking, they've been leaning into having less players. Like 12 is almost too much. But for me, I always liked having big teams. But I guess maybe it's because I'm, I don't know, heartless, and I'm okay with having a kid not play sometimes. It's okay. I'm at the varsity level. It is what it is. But it's at the freshman and the JV level. It's so I was just kind of second guessing myself last night, and then I just really thought about the 2 or 3 guys I was considering, and really it's, I think I was just trying to make cases for them that, would just get me, would satisfy my own, like, self-esteem, like I was a nice guy or whatever, for giving these kids an opportunity, even though it's like, deep down I really didn't think they made the cut. They all seem like nice kids, and I think all of them were on a volleyball roster, which doesn't really mean much because I hadn't done anything with them until tryouts, so I don't know. I felt some weird like allegiance to that like roster thing that I had seen. But I mean, this being, I guess I'm saying I think I ordered I have a total of like 15 jerseys, but I only but I took 12, and I took the 12 that really seemed like like they earned it, and they were 12 kids that could feed off of each other, and they all had the same type of athleticism, and they made the cut, I guess, in my eyes. And I got an email from one of the kids' dad saying he had a good time at tryouts. He didn't make the team, but what can he do? What other opportunities is there for him to play volleyball? And I like that. I like that the parent, it's a freshman parent, that they sent that email. I wish it was the player though, and it wasn't like parent driven. And then it got me thinking about, my daughter's gonna try out or go out for some sort of something one day, and how we all want our kids to make the cut, and we all want them to be doing something that they really like. And I'm like, how am I gonna deal with it if they don't make the cut? And I think the way that this parent dealt with it today was right, was good, was a positive way. It wasn't didn't feel attacking or anything. Seemed like he understood. Seemed like he was probably disappointed too. I think that's normal, but I also kind of realized there's another thing to be learned from this, and that it doesn't have to be over, and also that your child's going to learn how to deal with disappointment or not getting what they want, and then also he's gonna have to wake up tomorrow and continue with his life, and is this gonna be a huge bump in the road, or is it just another situation that he can learn from, or is it totally like devastating? Does it fire him up more to try and make the team again next year? Does he completely stop playing volleyball altogether because he did not make the team? I'm sorry, honey. Some introspective stuff, huh? But I kind of think, and to be honest, I feel like I've been to like over 20 tryouts for the high school that I work at, and so I hate to admit it, but I feel like there probably has been some boys and girls that they didn't make the team and they stopped playing altogether. But I don't think that can't be the coach's fault, because there's other kids around them that are dedicated and got to the sport earlier. But I think maybe it's also the test of, if you really like something or you're passionate about it, you might keep doing it regardless of what team you made, or because I mean, there's a million people that play basketball every day, and I'd say 900,900 don't get paid for it, but they still love it. So I've always wondered how many kids, after not making the team, continue to play a lot. And I've also had players who've been cut and they come back the next year and they've made the team, and they made it the next 2 years, and they made it onto varsity, and one guy was a bench warmer on varsity, but and kind of on JV too, I want to say. But I feel like one of those years he got some playing time, but he still went through it, and I think he really loved volleyball, and so he realized, I'm still going to play a ton at practice. I'm still going to get opportunities at practice, and that's pretty fun. And so, not like, a couple hours ago, one of the kids on my team texted me and said, I'm not going to be able to make it to practice, and didn't give me a reason. And so that just means, when you don't give someone a reason, that means your reason's not good. To me, anyways. To me, that's how I identify that as. Because if you're sick, you would just say, hey, I'm sick. Or if you're injured, you'd say, hey, I'm feeling injured. But no, it makes me feel like he wants to dip out on practice, go hang out with his girlfriend. And it's cool. He's not the guy. He had opportunities to be the guy at his position last year, and he got him, but he still wasn't the guy because nobody wanted to feed him the ball. And you know what? That's okay. For me, it's okay this year. It's okay if you want to squander a practice, a time to have fun, a practice time with your teammates in your senior year. If you want to do that, I'm okay with that this year. Because if you really want to be there, they would be there. And it doesn't give me any confidence in him that he wants to get better. His ego's satisfied just being on the team at this point. And that's good enough for some people. You don't want to but I'm not saying that that's the type of program I want, but at this stage in my life where my time is so spread and I've got so much I've got 3 daughters right now that require so much of my time, and we don't have a bustling social life. And I think I'm coming to terms with that. I like it that way. I like being home and just being there and relaxing. And I think I figured that out because I've got a feeling like whenever I'm out, I'm wondering when I can go home. Like, have I done enough of this being out and doing stuff to satisfy my own inner monologue that, okay, we did, so we checked something off, we went out, so like, it's not okay to be a homebody and watch football or play in the backyard, because I don't think society lets you feel like that is okay. Or I'm just so anxious and nervous that I've never thought that it was okay. And maybe it was growing up in a house where my brother is not ADD, but he's just a guy he likes to do shit. Like, he goes out, he was a surfer, and he played a ton of sports, and he likes to go fishing now, and he hates being in the office. He's the owner of his business, but really he's trying everything he can to be out plumbing and working with his hands every day. And if not that, he's trying to figure out a way to go out and go fishing. And before that, it used to be surfing, and he's always been a super active dude, and I followed suit too, because a lot of those things looked like fun, and they were, but I was quicker to find out the things I didn't really like. And then I found skateboarding and bodyboarding for a little while, and volleyball. But yeah, it's okay with me right now this year if they want to not come to practice, if they're not a crucial member of the starting squad of the team that's really going to do all the heavy lifting, which this guy is. And unfortunately, the guy that quit was not going to be part of the major solid crew either. But I think it's okay this year, and at the end of the day, I'm coaching because it is fun, and the practice time is really the more fun time. I know the matches are fun, but I'm also feeling like, oh gosh, like people just want to see you win. They could say like, oh, it's so fun to watch the boys play, but it's not fun to watch them lose or anything. But at this point, like, I'm just excited to notch on another year, and we have, seems like we have a pretty competitive team, and we'll see what happens, and I'll keep trying to improve them every day. Um, I'm just not ready to be a Russian dictator and be so hardcore with everybody showing up all the time when, you know, they don't show up because they don't want to be. And it's my fault for having a really laxed environment for my program, but it's my program, and obviously I haven't resigned or let go of it yet because I still do love it. It was just been a lot harder the last 8 months to carve out time to be a consistent head of the program. And so before the season starts, if they need to, dip on a practice because they're a senior in high school and they're gonna go hang out with their girlfriend and do what 17, 18-year-old kids do with their girlfriends in high school, I'm okay with that this year. But I'm also okay with not playing him because he's not being where he wants the rest of us to be. And because you got less better because you were out. You got better at something else, but you didn't get better at volleyball because you didn't come to practice, my dog.